So you go to UF, and again, what is so interesting is like we were talking, off air, is just the landscape of media and the way things have changed, and when social media, I tell people now, it's like there's never been a better time to start a small business or be a content creator or get into something like media, because like you said, you don't need someone to hire you. Like the platform is there, which I'm sure for you, coming out of UF, it's very much like hit the pavement. You know what I mean? Like you're taking whatever job, I've heard the stories of people going to cover middle school girls volleyball in Mississippi, which no disrespect, but I mean, you're starting from the very bottom. You don't get the college football job or the big job out of school. Just talk about that grind. Again, you already mentioned 2005, you literally, paid your way to get an hour show, I guess, for the week you said in Orlando. And of course that culminated in 2009 with the accolades and then of course where you are today. But like, what was that like? Like, was there ever a time where you sort of questioned, like, hey, is this seriously what I want to do? I mean, is this really worth all the work I'm putting in? Because, of course, on the journey, we all know, for anybody who's been on that journey, that doubt at some point can creep in. And that's why I always tell people, if you're going to do something like that, you got to do what you love to do. Because if you don't love it, the first time it gets hard, you're going to quit. So what was that journey like for you? Again, going from you graduate UF to 2005, I guess you finally, maybe break through and get an opportunity.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, man, I was trying to figure out how to break through. I didn't get the opportunity right away. I was working for the family business for a while, and my father, through kind of a chance encounter, met the arena voice of the Orlando Magic, who happened to have his own show that he hosted in Tampa. And I was able to get a lunch with this guy. His name was Paul Porter. And I said, Paul, I need to know how you get into this business. And he said, Mark, there's two ways. You can either sweep. I'll never forget this, Chris. He said, you can sweep the floors for 10 years and hope to get lucky, or you can make a little bit of money outside of radio and then buy your own show. And that sounded much better to me than sweeping the floors for 10 years and getting lucky. That's just more my style anyway. So I busted my hump in sales. I waited till I had $5,000 in the bank. Right. And then I went around to different stations in Orlando. Which one of you guys is going to give me the best deal? I'm ready to roll. And it was ESPN radio in Orlando. And that's how we got going. There were times, Chris, where you're like, oh my God, I'm short of paying the station bill this month. How am I going to get there? And then, dude, I kid you not, like in the 11th hour, a sponsor would come on board. And it always just felt like it was meant to be. Right. I went from buying my own show in Orlando to the morning show in the Florida Panhandle, then tried the buying my own show approach again to get to Atlanta, then connected with a big station in Atlanta, right? 92.9 The Game in Atlanta, and then became full-time in Tampa, was promoted to afternoon drive in Tampa, where I worked with Booger McFarland. Then after 9 years, Chris, of building up to working and getting to that dream job point, I had the heartbreak of my life, man. Our CBS was trying to get out of radio. There was a 13 station trade. They didn't see my no trade clause. What the heck, man? They traded us to a company named Beasley. Beasley said, we're not going to continue sports in Tampa Bay. Booger McFarland, we were the #1 sports show in Tampa. We all lost our jobs. Wow. And I'd worked 9 years to get to that point. In an 8-month period of time, I lost my dream job. I lost my fiance. I lost my home. I lost my puppy. I lost all these things that I'd worked so hard for. Then it was depressing as hell. And then, you reached a point where you're just picking yourself up. And I decided, Chris, that I wasn't going to accept peanuts anymore. You know what I mean? Like if I didn't get a good job, a well-paying salary job, I wasn't going to do it anymore. And so I became a high school media teacher in Houston. I was doing sports radio part-time. And I just said, I can do this forever. I'm not going to accept hourly wage anymore. It's not going to happen. And then this opportunity came in the upstate, man, largest market in the state. And I hope that I found my happily ever after. I've been jealous of guys forever that found like their market, found like their niche, found their happily ever after, because I've been bounced around and kicked so much. You know what I mean? Like I've been kicked so much, Chris. So it's been a joy. It's been awesome to work with a team of people that believe in me and believe in the kind of brand of radio that I do, which is just opinionated, Chris. That's what it is. It's not a shock jock fabricates an opinion to get a response. My natural opinions my whole life have been getting a response. I have never fabricated anything for clickbait. That's just my opinion. Okay. So, and I see you doing the same thing. You're not trying to incite people. You just naturally do incite people.
If you were, I was just going to say, not to cut you off, if you were doing that, people don't realize if you were doing that, at some point it will catch up to you, because you're going to say something that contradicts something, and it's like, oh, at some point that will catch. You just can't. I don't think you can make a living realistically or build a brand doing that.
So let me address my beef with you. Okay, let me address my beef with you.
Fair enough.
You only retweet the negative stuff. You like the positive stuff. You retweet the negative stuff. Now, I guess every once in a while, if you like something, it puts it in your timeline every once in a while.
Right.
But you only retweet the negative stuff. Why is that?
We love the banter, man. It's not negative. Okay. It's just banter. It's just, I don't see it as negative. I just see it as banter, which is good. Okay. I enjoy banter. I enjoy it. It's good, clean banter.